Welcome back to Market on Close. Russell, a little bit soft, and small caps have eased back from the post-election rally, but there's still a lot of stocks that are on the move and deserve some attention. Nancy Prial joins us from Essex Investment Management, Co-Chief Executive Officer and Senior Portfolio Manager. Great to see you again, Nancy.
Nice to see you. Thanks. It's good to be here.
Let's talk firstly kind of the post-election move in small caps generally. There was this kind of bout of euphoria. It's cooled off a little bit. Should we be worried or?
We don't think so. I mean, obviously, it moved very quickly post the election. And really, this move started in July. You know, it started with that unemployment report that was worse than expected, and the sense that the Fed was done raising rates, which in fact, at least for now, is true. We've had the first two eases, and then took off after the election with a lot of really fundamental reasons having to do with some of the policies that we think will be enacted. But when anything moves up that fast, it's only natural that there's a little pause to refresh. What we're excited about is we finally see tailwinds. We know we've had valuation, but valuation isn't enough. Now we have the catalyst. We have the catalyst with deregulation. We have the catalyst with reshoring and manufacturing. We have the catalyst, frankly, with animal spirits coming back. I'm sure you've seen the small business optimism number.
That was a ripper.
That is phenomena. That should lead to better revenue and earnings growth, which is what we've been waiting for.
The small biz number, which seemed pretty clearly a kind of a political impact, no secret, but fine, whatever works. If people who run companies are deciding to put money to work because they feel a certain way, that's money in the economy. Some of the other ones, though, seem like they still need to have justification, right? Deregulation, the kind of elements of pro-growth, like these are things that need to be actually enacted, put in. Does that still keep it a sort of speculative trade until we see that stuff get passed?
I don't really think so. I mean, there will be a lot of deregulation that can happen through executive order.
Okay.
And the important thing from our perspective as small cap investors in deregulation is just making it easier for businesses to spend the capital that they need to spend to drive some of these secular themes that are not dependent on the administration, but are really a function of what's going on economically, what's going on with technology. So again, we can talk about the reshoring and manufacturing, which has been happening since 2016.
Yeah.
It's accelerating, but it's been happening. Talk about the power grid. I mean, we're hearing a lot about that with the advent of generative AI, but this is real, and this is a multi-year lived trend where that spending is only just beginning and, again, being driven by economic necessity. And then it's the proliferation of Gen AI. We've had that first excitement about the building of the large language models. We're just now starting to see it come into the software world with real solutions to drive productivity gains, and that too will be very positive for economic growth.
That kind of seems like the theme of the last couple of weeks of earnings, which has been the cloud and the software interest and its connection to AI. One of the stocks that you guys like, we've had their CFO on a few times, PEGA, ticker PEGA. Been on a run for a couple of years after a pretty hard drop-off post-COVID. They seem to be really kind of hitting the nail on the head with AI efficiency based on what we've heard from some of their products they've been making.
Right, and that is the thesis there. It's AI efficiency. It's that we need these software companies and these enabling companies to build the systems so that other companies can deploy the technology to drive better productivity. It's not an employee reduction. It's a way of getting more productivity out of your employees, freeing up profit margins that hopefully will get spread not only to the shareholders, but also to the employees. I don't know if you saw, there was a note today, Klarna made the news talking about how they are using AI.
I saw that.
And driving productivity.
That was an interesting headline.
That's what we expect to see.
Do you think, by the way, just on that note, not to go off track here, but just because I like getting your market take on things, do you think the IPO market is going to open up in a big way?
We do.
Okay.
Both IPO and the deal market.
Okay.
So we know that private equity has been sitting on a lot of investments that they have not been able to monetize. They have been waiting for the catalyst. We think we now have the catalyst, so we expect to see IPOs, we expect to see deals, and there are public companies waiting in the wings. We are not worried yet, though, about peak IPOs, because that's the other side of that coin.
Not too much fervor, speculation?
Not yet, because the investment in AI is really just beginning. talk to me in a couple of years. We may be singing a different story.
Okay.
It's too early to worry about that yet.
So PEGA is one of the ways you like to play that through software and efficiency. What about in terms of still in that kind of AI track? I think another one may be Ambarella that has gone a little bit underappreciated, starting to pick up the pace. This was also kind of stuck for about a year and a half, kind of through 23 and the middle of last year.
Right. So Ambarella is actually a semiconductor company.
Yeah.
And they sell, it's vision systems is really what they sell. So think all kinds of machine vision applications. The stock was stuck in a rut because they were perceived as being vision for automobiles, and we've been having concerns over the automobile cycle. I'll make 2 points on that. One is they've really diversified their business so that they are not as dependent on automobiles, which is very positive. The other thing to remember, this is not just an EV play. It's a play on autonomous driving, which is happening whether or not we like it. There's semi-autonomous driving today. It's going to go fully autonomous at some point, and every car will have that technology. In addition, they've expanded into a lot of Internet of Things applications. The one that people are most excited about in the short run is machine vision for cameras. You think of Ring cameras. They're integrating some of the Ambarella chips. They reported a phenomenal quarter, and more importantly, took guidance up in a very big way with strong operating income growth because of their controls on operating spending. That's the kind of story we like.
So financial discipline on top of some secular themes. So the automatic driving definitely coming with you on that for sure. After finally taking a Waymo in San Francisco, it's like your eyes are open. The last one, definitely underappreciated. Back into software, AvePoint. This is at $18.50. It was $7 in the spring. Give me the 60-second pitch for this one.
Okay, 60-second pitch. Data governance.
Okay.
We have data everywhere. It's AI, it's machine learning. How do you control that data? Most businesses, most governments, most schools, et cetera, have multiple sources of that data, and nobody's been paying attention to that, how you get it to talk to each other, how you know what's there. AvePoint is one of the solutions.
Awesome. Great stuff. Nice picks. Good finds for us. Appreciate the catch-up, Nancy.
Great. Nice to see you. Thank you.
Absolutely. I always love the stock details and the macro thought for the small caps. Nancy Prial, Co-Chief Executive Officer and Senior Portfolio Manager at Essex Investment Management. All right,